Day 724 being Christopher Cruz. So I've been sitting in the parking lot for, I don't know, an hour or something like that. So something happened today, which leads to the whole pushover thing. So Verizon sent me in an envelope so I could put my old phone in it and return it. And I get home today and our landlord's there, but I was on the phone, so I didn't like say hi or anything like that. And by the time I got out of the car, he was already gone. But I looked at my phone and I saw he had messaged us, and he said, hey, you're not allowed to accept mail. It says in the lease that you're not allowed to do that. And Chris, you had some mail. And so I'm like nice and, cordial back. And I was like, oh, actually, that's just a one-time thing. Verizon is sending me what I need to be able to return my phone. And I was like, I thought it was okay to do one-time things because the lease says Amazon and deliveries. And he's like, no, that just means only products that you buy from stores, but not letters. And I was like, okay, but do you know where it is? Because it's not in the mailbox. And he's like, I have it. So he took my mail. And I'm just like being calm. And I'm just like, okay, Chris, don't be crazy. Like, I just want to go to town on him. And I'm just like, nope. And he's like, the way he's messaging is like really like kind of like rude and disrespectful. And I'm just like, what is it with this guy? And then he, references the contract, which is so funny because the contract also says that utilities are included in the rent. But he now charges us for utilities, but never changed the agreement that we signed. So it was like, you're such a hypocrite. Like, okay, you don't have to honor it, but we do. Okay. But obviously, it's like, he's got a little bit of leverage because we need a place to stay and he doesn't. And so I was talking to my roommate and she's like, I don't know how you didn't just like, respond to him. She was like, I was so bad. And I was like, yeah, I was so upset too. And I just wanted to go to town on him, but I feel like God was just like, let it go. And so I just like, and she's mentioned a few times, like, why don't we say anything about this? Why don't we say anything about that? And I've just been scared because we need a place to stay and we got such a good deal on this and it's month to month. And it's like, it's just out of fear. And so I was like, let's not rock the boat. Like, let's not be a pain in the ass. Like, whatever. And ever since, that 1 month where I couldn't pay rent and I was a few days late on it, like his tone and everything has changed. His attitude towards us has just been so different. He was like so nice and friendly in the beginning and so helpful and willing to do this and willing to do that. And then it all changed after that. Or maybe it's just like we could see his true colors now. I don't know. I don't know him well enough. And so then I come to Starbucks to have that realization about being a pushover. And I'm like, okay, it's time to start cleaning some shit up. And I was like, I need to respond to him because the way he is being is not okay. The way he's talking to me is not okay. Him having this double standards and this hypocrisy is not okay. And him withholding my mail is not okay. It's like legally not okay. It's illegal for him to take my mail and keep it. And so I wrote him this long message and I read it before I sent it, which was good because I had to change some things because it was got pretty like condescending and just I can be an asshole. And so I had to revise it and so changed it up a little bit. And then I read it again and it was definitely very assertive but respectful. And yeah, I stood my ground. And, I talked to him about like, yes, the lease says that. The lease also says that utilities are included. And so I just assumed that there would be some flexibility in our agreement because clearly there's some flexibility in it for you, which is why you added the utilities. And so it just feels like that the agreement is one-sided. And then went on to say, some other things. And it was very assertive, very firm, but not disrespectful. And yeah, we'll see what he says. And I made it clear to him, like, hey, if you don't want me there, like, let me know. If, you're still upset about me paying rent a few days late, 5 months ago, that's fine. And if you don't want me there, that's okay. Just let me know. If that's not the case, then communicate with me what's going on because your tone with us has changed dramatically. And I'm not sure what's going on, but it's just not okay. And, we started this off and it was so great and it was so awesome. And so if I ruin that, please let me fix it. Like, I hold myself accountable to that. That is 100% on me. That was not okay. And so I was like very like humble in saying that and expressing that to him. So we'll see what he says. He'll either be, cool, or he won't be. And I'll either, we'll all be good and I can keep living there, or he'll send us a notice and we'll have 28 days to get out. But I think he took the mail because he's doing something kind of sketchy. Like, there's some kind of financial or legal thing where, we can't be having mail there, because if we have mail there, then it shows that we're living there, and, we're paying him all cash. And so there's probably some tax implications or some short-term rental implications where he's like kind of, walking on the border. And so that's probably why he took my mail rather than letting me have it, because it's proof that we actually live there. So yeah, just like, dude, really? But it's just, if that's not the case, then he's just being childish and it's ridiculous. But for me to stand up to him was big, because that's my living situation. Like, but that was significant. And especially because my roommate, she's been saying it for months, like, we should say something to him. Like, we can't just let him push us around like this. And I'm just like, no, let's just not rock the boat, just out of fear and being small and, and all of this shit. And it's just like, dang, Chris, like, man up. And it feels so good. It's like, oh, here I am. And it's just so crazy to me, like, I'm a powerhouse with my words. Like, speaking is my number one gift. That is the gift that God gave me. I'm incredibly articulate. I'm super smart. And so it's like, I can go toe to toe with the best of them when it comes to dialogue and having conversations. And if it ends up, then arguments. But it's just crazy to me how much I'll cower, how small I can be, and how much I'll suppress my words and my self-expression, to avoid things, or because I'm afraid, or because I feel small or weak or unworthy or whatever. And but when I allow myself to be who God called me to be, when I allow myself to be that warrior, when I allow myself to be bold and assertive and confident and who he called me to be, like, I'm formidable. Like, my words are powerful. And I have a way of articulating things that is really strong. So, yeah. And it's just crazy to me how the devil will convince me to suppress that and be this weak little mouse, when in reality I'm a fucking giant. Especially when it comes to communication. And anyone who's ever argued with me will begrudgingly agree with me. That stubborn fucking asshole. He's such an asshole. So yeah, it's just like, Chris, wake up to who you are. Wake up to how freaking powerful you are. Don't be a coward. Like, hello, lion or sheep, don't be the cowardly lion. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I absolutely stood my ground in that. And if he doesn't want me to live there anymore, and he sends me a 28-day eviction notice, then I'll make it happen. Like, I'll make money, I'll get clients, and God will move me on to bigger and better things. So it's just amazing how stepping out of that whole pushover mentality gives me this confidence. Like, I can perform, I can make shit happen. Like, I'm incredible at what I do. I'm an amazing coach. I'm an amazing speaker. I've got a brilliant system. It's worth way more than $7,000. $7,000 is a bargain. And I can go out there and get business. And I get my clients results. So there's a ton of business out there for me. 80% of people on this planet don't know their purpose. And I can help them find it in 10 calls. So that's extremely valuable. So God has set me up for success, but it's like, I got to become the man that can take what he's given me and make it a success, right? You can give anyone a bag of ingredients, but not everyone can make a delicious meal out of it. God has given me this life where I have so many incredible opportunities in front of me. I have so many gifts and skills and abilities. I have so much wisdom and experience and such great people in my life. Like, someone else could succeed with my life. And, you know, my pastor said that a lot. Like, someone could succeed with your life. And that always hits me because I am so set up for success, it's ridiculous. I'm so set up for massive success, it's ridiculous. And not just massive success like financially or in a business sense, but massive success in making an impact in this world and changing people's lives and leading people back to God, which to me is the true success. And so I am fully set up for that. He has given me everything that I need. It's all aligned, like the dominoes are aligned. But the only way that I'm going to actually tip the dominoes, I have to stand up and I have to be the bold, assertive person that I truly am and stop being the scared little coward that I've been. Because that guy is going to take all of these gifts that God has given me, he's going to waste them. He's never going to tip the domino. He's just going to stare at them. He's going to stare at that first domino and say, oh my God, I can't handle this, because he's so small, weak, and cowardly. But the real me is a freaking giant and looks down at the domino like, oh, it's that tiny? Flick. And that's the difference. And I feel like we all battle between that. You know, our inner sheep and our inner lion, our mediocre self and our greatest self, our small self and our big self. And it's like, that's the battle. That's the battle that we're all fighting. You know, who the enemy says we are versus who God says we are. And we're battling between those two identities every single moment of every day. And that is my greatest battle of my life. And I just won that battle. But now I got to win it again and again and again and again and again and again and again until winning that battle becomes my default. But this is a massive step towards that. So I'm extremely proud. And it sucked the last 2 weeks, like going through it, like God threw me in the furnace, but he was purifying me. You know, he's bringing all the crap to the surface so I could remove it. And he brought it to the surface today, and I'm sitting in there at Starbucks fuming. And it's just like, I'm so pissed off. And then it's finally like, okay, Chris, are you going to finally get rid of your pride and stop pointing the finger at everyone else and now pointing at yourself? And instead of blaming everyone for what they're doing, can you look at yourself and ask yourself who you're being? Because it's not what they're doing that's fucking you up. It's who you're being. And that's a level of responsibility that I don't want to take, that most people don't want to take. It's confronting. It's extremely confronting. So, yeah. But I'm so glad I did it. So, because he's going to get that message, and I'm sure he's going to be like, what the fuck? And he might be infuriated, or it might put him in his place a little bit, or he might respect me. Who knows? But I don't care. Like, I'm being who God called me to be in being that way. My 4 lion words are confident, courageous, bold, and fun. Confident, courageous, bold, and then fun is over there. And that confident and that courageous and that bold me wrote that message. Yeah, I'm just not going to let myself be pushed around by people. I can't do that anymore. I've done that my whole life, except in business and coaching. But I need to be that person that I am in business as the CEO. I need to be that person as I am as the coach and the speaker and the leader. I need to be that person in my personal life. Because that person commands respect. That person walks with the authority of God, you know, because God has given us authority. You know, he walks with this assertiveness and this boldness and this confidence because he knows who he is. And he knows what he's worth and he knows what he's capable of. And so he's got this just supreme confidence, this Godfidence that is just so powerful, and it creates this level of certainty, and people are inspired by him, and they want to be led by him, and they want to follow him, and they want to be, you know, associated with him, and they trust him, and they admire him, and they're inspired by him, and they admire his light, and it encourages them to be their greatest selves and you know, to shine their light. And that's who I'm called to be. That's why I love when Jesus said, you are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden, nor would you light a lamp and hide it under a bowl. He put it on a lampstand so it can shine on everyone in the room. And it's like, that's who I'm called to be, but that's never going to happen if I keep being this weak, scared little coward who's doesn't believe he's worthy of saying no to people and standing up for himself. So all of my frustrations towards everyone in my life over the last 2 weeks is now completely understood. And it is just, it's funny. It's just like, wow, Chris, you were so deceived. The devil's such a fucking liar. The devil is such a liar. It is ridiculous. He is just such a deceiver. He is such a manipulator. Here you are making enemies of everyone you love and care about. Well, the devil sits back and just laughs at how much of a puppet you are. But today you cut the strings, because actually God cut the strings. God showed you the strings. It's my job to cut them. He showed them to me. It's my job to cut them by taking actions in alignment with who he's called me to be. So thank you, God, for the clarity. And prayer really does work. I need to become a prayer warrior, because prayer works. I felt called to get on my knees right before I went to Starbucks, and I said, God, please just show me what's going on. Please help me, open my eyes, help me see what the heck is going on. Like, I just don't feel good these last 2 weeks. And then an hour later, he gives me the answer. Not the answer I wanted to hear, because that's the answer that hurt. I thought it was going to be an easy answer. This is like probably the greatest challenge of my life. More than my weight, more than my finances, more than living into my potential, because this is what stops me from living into my potential. Because when I am that bold, assertive badass that I truly am, things happen. Things happen. And when I'm not, it all falls apart. Because God has given me a big life to live. I know that. But to live a big life, I need to be a big person. I can't expect to live a big life being a small person. It's just not gonna work. Small people live small lives. Big people live big lives. But also, big people live small lives when they hold themselves back. So, yeah, I'm unwilling to do that. So now it's in God's hands. I took action in alignment with who God has called me to be. And so now it's in God's hands. And no matter what the response is, and no matter what happens, I know that God is my strength, and I know that who he called me to be and who he created me to be, that guy can handle it. So, yeah. And so crazy, because when I went to record this video, I was like, I'm going to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, so in case he messages me in the middle of a video and says something bad, I don't get like anxious and upset in the middle of the thing. And it's just like, wow, Chris, stop being such a scared little pathetic wimp. Like, you better leave your messages on. And it was just like this. It's just like, wow, Chris, wake up. Wake up. So, yeah, just funny and sad. But also temporary. Very temporary. You're always one choice away from being the person God called you to be. And that one choice just shifted everything. I have a different future because of that message that just got sent. Literally, different future. So, yeah, we'll see.